Hey there guys, this is Ignite Fire and welcome back to another episode of my Skylanders Spyro Adventure Let's Play from the Nintendo Wii. This is episode number 10 and in this episode we are completing chapter 10 known as Treetop Terrace to 100%. So without further ado, let's get into the chapter here.
We should go quickly. Are you ready to go quickly now?
You bet we are. Okay, we are now officially travelling to Treetop and Terrace. Yeah, I said it weirdly, purposely, like totally. Yeah, I remember the first time I played through this game, like, it basically, I'll tell you in a minute.
It feels good to be in the tree of life. I can tell these things. But what happened to the life thieves? They are the children of the great tree.
Basically, before you get the soul gem of a Skylander, it shows you where you can get that soul gem from, and so obviously Gilgren was one of the start pack characters, and so at this point in the game I did not have a soul gem. And of course, Gilgren's soul gem was said to be located in Treetop Terrace, and so when I got through to this level I was like super excited to play through the level just to go and find Gilgren's soul gem. Like, that was the main reason why I was so hyped for this level. Not for the level itself, but for the soul gem that was in it. But yeah, I have talked about my limited palette on my first experiences on this game, which was of course Boomer, Ghost Roaster, and the 3 from Starter Pack. And I actually got to the final Chaos boss fight with just those 5 characters, and then of course I needed like some extra characters to actually beat the Chaos boss fight himself. Because the Chaos boss fight is damn hard in this game, you need more than 5 characters to beat it, definitely. Unless you are skilled like I have learnt to become and can beat it with, of course, just the starter pack 3 characters, which is very, very, very doable. You just need to be pretty skilled at the game to do that. Either way, we're going to swap from Drobot here to Camo, because yes, it is an air elemental area right here, but a life elemental area is coming out very soon. And when I say elemental area, I mean that the area of the location that we're at is matching that of an element and not an actual elemental gate. When I refer to an element as an elemental gate, that's when we actually have to access the gate behind a certain element. You guys know what I mean by now, right? The difference between an elemental area and an elemental gate. And so what's coming up is an elemental area, a life elemental area, and not a life elemental gate. Even though by trying to actually explain it to make things look more clear, I've probably just made things more confusing. That's what people end up doing all the time, like they end up like trying to simplify things and in the process make things seem more complicated. The treasure chests in this level are all like hidden in very similar ways, so if you find the first treasure chest, which is basically back here, you'll be able to find the other 3 treasure chests, the other 2 even, quite easily. Because like I said, they're hidden in similar ways. This level is actually also incredibly short, so this should be about a 25-minute episode. Either way, we're going to hit this switch right here, so that then the top gate right here is lifted. But we only have limited time to make it to it, so hopefully we make it to it in time, and in time we made it just fine. I love that melon attack this guy has. Okay, shoot your stupid thingy then. There we go. Okay, we have yet another treasure chest here. Yeah, it's hidden in such a similar way because like there's a bridge that leads to like a different tree just out of range of the camera. And not to mention it's literally only like a few foot away from the previous treasure chest. That makes it even more easier. Either way, we have a story scroll here as well, so let's listen.
Gallia says, despite claims that the Dro invented balloons, it was actually a chump who came up with the idea. Drinking 200 bottles of fizzy juice, a chump he inflated to 20
Chompies is that it might be the weakest and most abundant enemy in the whole of the series, but they have so many interesting things about them from those story scrolls that makes them actually the most interesting enemy. So yeah, Chompies are actually really, really cool, and the Chompy Mage just make Chompies even more cooler because the Chompy Mage is extremely funny and his personality is awesome. Like, I like good personality in my villains and my characters and stuff, and that's why I like lots of characters over other characters, because their personality is better and stuff like that, you know? So, those guys are very dead right now. So, we're gonna head right up here. Boom, we made it to the teleport pad just fine here. And we also got melons just fine as well, because yay, melons! I like watermelons. How about you guys? Okay, for some reason his firecrackers weren't working there. But either way, we have a magic elemental gate here, so I'm going to swap to Wrecking Ball, and I can guarantee you guys that this is the last time I'm using Wrecking Ball, because I hate this guy so much that I am definitely not using him after this elemental gate. I think twice is enough for the Let's Play. Honestly, the Let's Play 0 appearances for this guy would have been warranted. But I wanted to show off every character, and this guy is part of the cast, so really I should have really shown him off, despite how bad he is. It's funny how the only guys who actually even like Wrecking Ball are like young kids. And I mean real young. Even as a kid I didn't like Wrecking Ball, especially his design. As a kid I thought his design was ugly. Or maybe I was just a weird kid, who knows. This elemental area would have suited life just as much as it did with magic. But if they did that, then it would have meant that they would have had too many life elemental gates in comparison to the rest, so they decided to keep it. They decided to have this as a magic gate to kind of like keep the elements balanced. So there was, in the main game, there's basically 4 elemental gates per element, and then for 4 other elements they get 5 elemental gates because they get 1 from the adventure pack levels. Okay, so you gotta head over the bridge here and try not to fall down like I just did, like an absolute failure. Yeah, do not use Wrecking Ball's Wrecking Ball right there. It's a awful idea. I don't know why I even did it. But at least now you guys can learn from my mistake. So that was pretty much a what not to do part of the video right here. So I got a good idea. How about I don't do it again? There we go, we now have our hat, and that hat actually really suits Spyro as well, because Spyro like charges into his enemies, and like antlers are, for most animals, they use their antlers to like charge into enemies as part of a defense mechanism. Like, animals with antlers tend to be herbivores, and so they don't use their horns for offensive reasons. And they would only use it for offense in extreme conditions. Either way, that one is now very dead right now. And as is this one. It's fine using Wrecking Ball like there because of the invisible walls, luckily. Oh, if you press the B, like, while doing your Wrecking Ball, your Wrecking Ball explodes. I don't know that. Either way, the element is air right now, so I'm actually going to swap to none other than Whirlwind again. I think I've shown off all the air characters at this point. Yeah, I have. I mean, like, I've shown off Warnado briefly for, like, a speedrun. So I'll show Warnado off at, like, some other air gates to, like, show him off fully, instead of just for speedrun. But either way, that little ball right there is the Ball of Death. Literally, it annihilates the enemies on that ramp right there. It's awesome. Okay, careful with the spikes right here, guys. These things hurt. Honestly, I think I've taken more damage from those spikes than what I have from the enemies in this level because of how impatient I can be when it comes to these spiked sections. I was actually playing with Cinder in this level once, and what I did is I ended up like using her spectral dash to dash into the winch there, and she actually got stuck behind the winch, so I had to restart the level, so that was a pain. At the time I got annoyed, but looking back at it, it was actually quite funny and cool to find a glitch like that. Because glitches in this franchise are rare, at least game-breaking ones anyway. I mean, like, glitches for these games actually got to go looking for them. Because the worst case glitches in these games is literally like when you have areas where you need to defeat all of the enemies to open the gate, and when you defeat all the enemies, that gate doesn't open. But that glitch, those glitches only ever happened to me like five times, and they haven't happened for years. So I ain't even worried about it at this point. Darn, I probably jinxed myself for a late level now, haven't I? You watch, I probably have as well, so when it comes around to that in the level, I'll be like, oh, why did I say that in chapter 10? Okay, this guy's gonna die very quickly now. There we go. He's very, very dead. We have more drows that are for a death wish right here. And so their death wish has been granted. Okay, so if you click that rotator twice and then push this block right into there, you've completed the puzzle. Very simple one right there, but it's fun nonetheless. But these puzzles get a whole lot more complicated and a whole lot better later on into the game, to a point where they're actually really fun, especially when it comes to the Quicksilver Vault level, which is actually the level prone to be most glitches, so I sure hope I don't end up getting glitched when I go through it. But I'm not playing on the Xbox 360 version, and so the glitches for Quicksilver Vault level is like worse in the Xbox 360 version. In the Wii, there is actually, in the Wii version, there's a glitch where, possibly, after Quicksilver Vault, if you say no to Weapon Master to go to Arcane Armory, there's a small possibility that after you reload your game, the Weapon Master will not, he will go to sleep and not wake back up, so you will not be able to advance to Arcane Armory, and so that means you will have to start the whole game all over again. And that's a shame because Arcane Armory is like the second to last level. Either way, we now have a life seed, so we have a few cutscenes, and as always, if you speedrun, follow it straight afterwards.
You got it! Great legend of Skylanders come to life! You have found life's seed, and nature rejoices. We shall spread their happiness to the core of life, and watch them grow.
As always, 100% upset for the speedrun, but that's because it's impossible to do the speedrun and get other collections at the same time, especially when it comes to those elemental gates.
Shoo, land creature! Have you no respect for the sacred life seed? See, I've been saying those sheep are evil. Evil, I tell you! These seeds you brought back have grown into these wonderful apple bushes. Shoo! But these sheep are eating all the apples. Could you please keep the sheep away long enough for the apples to grow? Then the roots will be strong enough to speak to me.
Okay, we're not going to do that yet because instead we have a speedrun coming up, and doing the speedrun today is Drill Sergeant of the Tech Element. This episode so far has actually been extremely fast paced. Like, we've already gone through level 1, so we're going into the speedrun 40 minutes into the video. So most likely this video is going to be under 20 minutes. And so that basically means that originally my recording session was going to end with this level, but because of how short this episode is, I have enough time to just squeeze in another level in this recording session, but the next level will definitely be the last level I will be playing in this one session here, because, you know, phone storage and all. Best thing about Drill Sergeant is that you can have his cannon going, like, while charging and firing rockets at enemies. So that part makes him stupid cool. Yeah, it basically means that you can have your your, like, gun shooting at some enemies, and then, like, have your rockets firing at others. And so that's effective and fun, you know, which is why he's a good tech Skylander, but that still doesn't make him, you know, as I've said before, my favourite tech Skylander of my, it doesn't make him my favourite tech Skylander from this first game here, because, you know, the other tech Skylanders are just so good, and he does not compare to them. So he's my least favourite tech Skylander from this game, basically, here is what I'm trying to say. Because as always, I have a very unique way of expressing what I'm trying to say. Either way, I don't think I need to defeat this guy right here, so we're just going to head straight for this thing right here. Now move already. There we go, nice. Well, you know, being unpolite does actually work for some things. And in case you guys couldn't tell, I was joking about that as well. Always be polite in life, it's so nice to be polite. But of course there are those moments where you are going to be impolite, and so if people are impolite to you, just deal with it, because they've probably had a bad day, so there's no point in you, like, if they've had a bad day, there's no point in you saying anything to put them in even worse of a mood. The only time when you really should say something about someone being impolite is if they do it, like, every single day, and be like, you should just be like, and be nice about it. You should just be like, excuse me sir, you're quite impolite, please, like, and then tell them what you need to do, you know. But like I said, be nice about it. I hope you guys enjoy this advice. I hope this advice helps as well. If you hate the advice and don't want to hear any more of it, then please say in the comments. Or if you love the advice and want me to kind of like refine it and get better at it, then also tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion, because your feedback is highly appreciated. And if you guys want me to improve, then the only way for me to improve is for you guys to tell me how to. Improvement is a two-way thing. In order to do improvement, you need to know where you need to improve to do that. Okay, as for this area, I don't think I need to clear out all... Yes, I do. I was about to say I don't think I need to clear out all the enemies, but it turns out I do indeed. But as for the speedrun, I think I'm doing almighty fine right now. I think I got it in the bag, one would say. Or at least I'd hope. I just hope that this guy's fairly like weak. This guy does have fairly weak attacks, so I'm hoping that that don't cost me a run. But it shouldn't do, because I have been very quick here. Stupid annoying Joe. Yeah, I hate it when they fall down and they cause you to fall down to go and defeat him. Okay, here comes the Blitzer Bully right here. That's actually his name, you know. Blitzer Bully. Yeah, you see what I'm doing here? I'm shooting like those Crow while I was shooting at the Blitzer Bully with my rockets. So that part of his moveset is cool, but everything else, like, is weak and ineffective. Which is, you know, a shame. It really lets this guy's character down, but overall, like I said, he's far from bad. He's just not a favourite of mine. Okay, let's skip these. Actually, come to think of it, I think Drill Sergeant and Boomer are my most talked about Skylanders ever. Like, Igniter was my favourite, so I do talk about him a lot, but he's nowhere near talked about as much as Boomer and Drill Sergeant are. I am going to do an Igniter, like, video, of course, but that's going to be, like, I'm going to do that for either a subscriber special or a, like, 100th video special or something. It's going to be some sort of special, because, you know, it's Igniter off the Facebook channel. His theme video has to be some sort of special, because Igniter is special in the story. Yeah, I really want a series for Igniter. What would be awesome is if for Skylander Imaginators Year 2, if there is going to be one, for them to bring back like reposes and have like the repose characters have new battle classes, which would be really nice to see repose series for Igniter of the Knight class. Because what other class would Igniter be than a Knight, right? I mean, like, there's Knight in the name, not to mention he's a Knight in shining armor with a giant flame sword. How more is there any, like, aesthetics and weaponry of a character that really, like, shows itself as a Knight more than Igniter? No, I don't think so. So basically what I'm saying here is that Igniter was a clear Knight here, end story. Either way, the video is done, and it's barely over 20 minutes. I was trying to keep it under 20 minutes, but it's still short nonetheless. And this is the point of the video. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.